Hey everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today what I want to talk to you about is Egyptian spinach. Now I just a few minutes ago finished up doing a video about what I plant in the summertime to grow greens for salads and things that I can eat. And one of the things that I had neglected to plant, had not yet planted, was Egyptian spinach. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and cleared up this bed. Now this is my potato bed. That this particular section of it, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 plants out of a whole three whole rows of potatoes that just didn't grow. Why? Not really sure. Maybe they rotted in the ground, whatever the case may be. But that leaves me with an opportunity and some bare space to fill. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant Egyptian spinach. Now Egyptian spinach goes back to the time of the Egyptians, the pharaohs and so on. Well, actually the Egyptians are still around, but it goes back to the time of the pharaohs, and it was a popular leafy green that grew well in the Egyptian sand. It does require a bit of water, but it is very easy to grow. It grows very easily. Matter of fact, it was grown pretty much throughout the Middle East. Apparently there's another name for it that has to do with Israel and the Jews. But at any rate, so we have grown it before, and it did pretty well. But we really didn't do it like we should have, and that's why I think that was one of the issues with us eating it, was it got kind of tough and wasn't all that great. So one of the things they tell you is when you grow Egyptian spinach, you want to get it up to about 2 foot tall, which is the height of my little green fences here. Once they get up to about 2 foot tall, you want to start cutting it off and essentially getting it to where it starts to spread out and bush. And then it will grow back more of those tender, young, leafy greens. And that's what you're really looking to eat. The harder core, the older leaves are not as good. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to dig a small trench, and not a very deep trench. Again, I don't have any guidance on this, but one of the rules of thumb, you gotta take the rules from your thumb, is that whatever kind of seed you have, if you on average take about 3 times the length of your seed and plant it about that deep, usually it'll be successful. So let me show you the seeds. So these are my little seed trays. We're actually gosh, what was it? It was a little container of fasteners. And I took all the fasteners out and I use them for seeds now. Oh, I have a bug in there. Interesting. So these are the seeds. Let me grab a little handful. So hopefully you can kind of see them. They're very interesting looking seeds. I mean, they're very green. They almost look like they have a coating on them. Like, I don't know if y'all have gotten the So Easy seeds. And they're kind of oddly shaped. Almost pyramidical, which is interesting considering they're Egyptian. All right, but what happens as the weather cools down, these plants, they will put out a seed pod, and they seed a lot. I mean, a lot of seed comes out, and the seed pod will happen once it starts to cool off, like I said. And then I collected seeds, and from the first crop we grew, I mean, I actually collected so many seeds that now I have, well, I had given a bunch away, planted a bunch, and now I still have some left over for this year's planting. But I will need to collect some more seeds from this year's crop. So we're going to dig a trench about 1/4 inch deep, plus or minus a few. Doesn't have to be exact. And it doesn't have to be straight, because apparently I can't draw a straight line. Okay. Alright, so I've already planted this trough right here, and I've drawn another trough right here that I'm going to go ahead and sow some seeds into. And you want to give them a couple of feet between them. And again, you want it about 2 foot high is when you want to start trimming them back. That'll give you about a 2 foot round bush, plus or minus a few, and they can overlap a little bit. All right, because they do want to bush out, and they do, when you start cutting them back, they're going to spread out and get a little bit larger, and you want to give yourself some space so that you have the room to do that. They do get to be a really large plant. I mean, as I remember, they were 6-7 foot tall by the end of the season that one year that we did grow them. All right, let me go ahead and get these planted. Now, if you have your own seeds, like I do, that you've collected, you can be a lot more generous and just kind of sprinkle them in. But if you have to buy seeds, you might want to be a little more sparing with the seeds. But what I will do is I'm gonna sow them very thick, because these are older seeds. They're a couple years old. So I'm gonna spread them pretty thick, and then I'll come back through and thin them out as necessary. And like I said, the year that we did grow them, because we didn't get them to grow last year, and I don't know that we did it the year before, they grew very quickly, they grew very strong, and like I said, they got huge. So what I'm going to do this year again is to cut them back, try and keep them from getting quite as large, and then hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of food off of these plants, along with the other things that I have growing here in the garden for summertime salad. All right, and again, these are supposed to be, and in my experience, we're very much heat tolerant. They love the heat. They have a very deep taproot, which is one of the reasons why you can plant them in starter pots, but it doesn't always go so well, because they want that long taproot to go down into the ground. So I'm going to let that happen here. I'll keep them well watered until they start to sprout, and then I'll thin them out to probably one plant every foot or so, maybe a little less. All right, that's what I got going on today. I'm planting me some Egyptian spinach. Thanks for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and a subscribe, and let me know what you think. But most importantly, grow something. Start thinking now about what you're going to plant for the summertime season here in Jacksonville. It's going to get hot, it's going to get muggy, and a lot of things will stop growing. So get some planting in now and start looking at some of the things that you can get planted so that you still have greens to eat throughout the summertime. All right, thanks once again. Y'all come back and see me. And grow something.